Morning, everybody. It's Friday, having a chest cold open. Good morning, Spikelings. I am your devoted and most noble of hosts, Aspiring Spike. Welcome to a very fancy edition of the Shark Typhoon. Today we'll be doing away with all forms of silliness, joking, standing, tomfoolery. Instead, we will be focusing on the finer things in life, like drawing cards, forcing discards, returning creatures from the graveyard, and of course, winning matches. I hope this will be edifying for all of you, edifying for your all, and if it pleases you, feel free to like, sub, follow, and all the rest. Punk Dead, thank you for the 12 months. Happy anniversary. So this is a deck that we were working on. I can't remember when we first started. It's been a couple months since the first iteration of this deck. It took a long time for like the first version to come together, but the main thing is like Goryo's Vengeance on a Griselbrand is one of the most powerful things to be doing in Modern that nobody's doing. And it took a long time to figure out a good home, but there's actually like a lot of really exciting overlap with Griselbrand and the incarnations, Grief, Solitude, and Ephemerate, where when you're drawing like, 7, 14, 21 cards with Griselbrand, you want to have 0 mana spells you can play to affect the board. And it doesn't really matter if you're getting 2 for 1 because you just have so many cards. Just get ahead on board, keep a Griselbrand alive. Grief can either protect your Griselbrand or slow your opponent down, and then Solitude can exile your own Griselbrand so that you can kind of like combo off again the next turn. So, and then what's cool is like obviously Ephemerate is really nice with Solitude and Grief, but when you're drawing like 14 cards with Griselbrand, and you're going to be getting back Griselbrand on turn 3, you can Ephemerate your Griselbrand just to keep it around instead of sacrificing it to your Goryo's Vengeance. And this is a deck we trophied with. We had like a really, really good first stream with it, and it was one that I was pretty impressed by. But I always really did feel like it was missing like another good looting effect. Like you have Faithful Mending, and I always felt like it was missing one more looting effect. And kind of like the Rocco deck that we've been playing the last couple days, it just took me a long time to like actually get a 75 together that I liked. I don't know why I was just kind of stuck on this list for so long. Just like cutting the cards from the other version just took a long time. But I ended up going down to 3 Prismatic Endings, 21 lands, or 20 lands instead of 21, because now we have, more card advantage. I cut the second Obzedat to try 1 Jin-Gitaxias. This was something we wanted to try for a long time. I think the first copy is pretty good. Again, you don't really want to play any other legendary creature besides one that's going to be good to Goryo's Vengeance or draw into an Ephemerate, where Obzedat, you Goryo's Vengeance, it just like stays, it just by itself starts to recur. But Jin-Gitaxias also draws you 7 cards before you exile it to the Vengeance. And if there's an Ephemerate in those 7 cards, you get to keep it around. So I'm playing 1 kind of like as the 6 Griselbrand and just 1 Obzedat as like this like board pressure threat now. I don't know if there's anything else to go over necessarily. I'm going to go ahead and click play game. I'm also going to get a breathe right strip because I'm still a little stuffed up. Okay, new match. We have Grief Ephemerate on turn 1, so I think we keep. Yeah, I do want to play, in the Pioneer's Goggles Fire deck, I want to play Strangle over Light Up the Night, and then cut the Pyromancer's Goggles for the 3rd copy of Anger of the Gods on the sideboard. It's in my opinion, bad EV to play at 1-2, so I usually don't. Yeah, today has been like, the deck techs have all been pretty lost to the sauce. I think somebody's gonna lightning bolt in response. You brewing burn anytime soon? Is archetype too boring? I built your DOC built around. I haven't like come back to the burn archetype recently, but I never like this is for any aspiring brewers out there, for anybody who's like trying to like deck build or like potentially stream. I really advise you to not be like to not have the attitude of I'm going to work on this archetype today. I'm going to work on burn. I'm going to work on control. I'm going to work on this archetype. Your ideas have to be like way more focused than that. Your ideas have to be like this is like a specific idea that I think fits somewhere. You have to start smaller, I think. let the ideas come to you and then expand on those ideas rather than try to force yourself to innovate on a deck like Burn. The Amulet Titan, the meta. I think Amulet Titan is like basically always good, and the Amulet Titan players are, for some reason, so willing to just abandon their deck when the metagame just shifts a little bit to be out of its favor. Okay, they shock in the Fountain. So they may be just flashing on Snapcaster Mage. Obviously, they may just drew Counterspell or something. Opponent seems to be playing a hero deck, perhaps. They are just running out the Snapcaster Mage. Whatever happened to Tamashii Bloom? Tamashii Bloom's a good deck. Nassif's actually been playing a lot of it lately. Okay, we'll play the Priest here. Yeah, today is Hero Deck Friday. Hero Deck Friday. I think I'm just attacking with both. My opponent's probably going to block here. I think that's fine. Oh, those are Menace, of course, Menace. I also forgot the Menace. So no blocks. And then we could draw step, Ephemerate the Grieve. It's a bit risky. I think I'm supposed to, though. No bad with the 2-pack. Could also just hold it up for removal. We'll just hold it up for removal. Yeah, I forgot about the Menace. I haven't played with the Grief in a long time. What about Titan of Industry to Titan for the Murktide matchups? I'm not of the opinion that Titan of Industry is a card that like helps you that much in the Murktide matchup. Okay, here's the thing about yet another thing about Titan players is Titan players are like completely unwilling to play Veil of Summer too in their sideboard, but I really feel like a couple of Veil of Summers would help a lot with the Murktide matchup. I mean, I don't really feel like the whole problem is just Unholy Heat. It's like an issue that you just can't always tutor up your Cavern, or you can't tutor up your Cavern that consistently before you Titan. So you could play more Caverns, but at least as a Murktide player, I'm the most scared of like Cavern of Souls, Veil of Summer. Like you could even go up to the full 4 Cavern of Souls post-board versus Murktide and improve the matchup a lot. Especially because a lot of Murktide players are going way down on moon effects. I'm probably supposed to Ephemerate my Grief here, just in case they drew a Counterspell. But they drew Bolt, so not a decision anymore. Okay, first flash in Solitude into turn. I think I do run 4 Caverns. Yeah, I think 4 in the 75 like probably improves your overall matchup spread a lot. I think I'm gonna wait on. Well, we'll see what happens here. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to wait. Like, I just don't think a 3/2 Grief is worth getting back, especially when if I could just ever get a Griselbrand in the yard, the Priest is just so game winning against this control deck. Having 4 Priest game 1 against control is a really big game. And here, we're actually in the territory where if I just draw a Griselbrand, I can hardcast it, and even if they counter, I get to Priest it back. Yeah, they've cast the full 4 Lightning Bolts here, huh? Although if my opponent has to, like, if their draw steps were land, Teferi, hero. Dude, these blue... Oh, it's... Okay, well, my opponent had access to all the 5 drops in the format. This is the one they chose. And who can fault them, huh? Yeah, I was just on tilt from the earlier matches unnecessarily, huh? Okay, opponent's deck is actually the hero deck. I need to change my going live notification. Opponent's deck is the real hero deck all along. Hero Friday. How often do I actually go on tilt? Not that often. Basically never during stream. It has happened, of course, but Doesn't happen that often on stream. The key, if my general advice to Magic players who are wondering how they can minimize tilt and just, you know, become more focused in general and not let the losses get to them, is to lose giant high-stake matches for all your hopes and dreams and have your dreams come crumbling down, reduced to dust and ashes. Did you draw Solitude? Did draw Solitude. That's pretty good. But that is my one weird trick. Oh, they're supposed to exile my priest to block the Solitude, I think. This is wrong. My one weird trick for getting off tilt. Just lose super soul-crushing matches and have your feelings and your hopes grinded into just completely pulverized dust. And then you'll be good to go. They did a Stoneforge Mystic off their Iteration. A Dream. Grabbing a Cauldron. Okay, we're gonna need a Griselbrand soon. Can just hard cast it. Well, I guess we get to grief the Cauldron. Genuinely curious if Triumph is bad in the deck or is just forgotten. I think the Triumph is bad in the deck. I think that you really need your... One, your mana is pretty good here. Like, your mana requirements are pretty easy to meet. I genuinely feel like this deck has really good mana without the Triumph. And this deck really wants to make sure it doesn't have tap lands in the early game. Come on. Ah! Deck is bad, actually, huh? Do I have to chump block? I think I have to chump block the Batter Skull, because if I do get Griselbrand down, if I do draw like Griselbrand to hardcast and draw 7, like I can't draw if I don't chump block here. I cut a land from the last time. We're only playing 20 lands. We're only playing 20 lands. Ugh, damn it. Not only are we only playing 20 lands, it's not like we like drew a lot of cards and just flooded. We just flooded. Ah, I have 8 looting effects. 8 looting spells, 4 looting creatures too. Brutal. Oh, dude, we're actually hold on. We're 1 mana. We can hardcast Jin-Gitaxias if we draw Jin-Gitaxias next turn, though. We can hardcast Jin-Gitaxias next turn, and then lose to my opponent bouncing it with Teferi, unless we draw Solitudes. Yeah, I don't know if you're joking. We actually do have a cool 10 drop for these spots, huh? There's a spell. So they're gonna go Teferi, bounce my Jace, put me to 1, and then I need to draw Looter into Griselbrand, I guess. Yeah, right on time, Jace. At least the hero deck is winning. So they're probably on Rest in Peace, right? Gotta be on Rest in Peace. And now, I was gonna say, now we're gonna draw the Jin, and it's not gonna be good enough. Okay, we do have a line, though. We do have a line of Legend Ruler Jaces. Goryo's Vengeance back a Jace. Then loot into Griselbrand. An easy line. Plan A, if anything. Okay. Yeah. Let's see if we would have drawn it. Okay. Take back what I said about tilt. Yeah, I think... So I want to be on these as my removal spells. They hit the Stoneforge Mystic and Opposing Graveyard Hate. I want to be on the Planeswalkers. Quick at the Obzedat. Just play 4 Grief. No Thoughtseize. Trim 1 Jace. Yeah, maybe trimming Jace is good in this matchup. I wonder if we could maybe cut all the Jaces. I know they still have removal for the Priest. Yeah, maybe 1 Solitude seems okay. It's kind of a weak card, though. We have other removal spells, too. I think on the play, I'll keep all the Jace and reconsider on the draw. Is Jin not good against Control? No, it's really bad against Solitude. Which they are playing. I mean, it's good if it gets in play and they have nothing for it, but... just, like, pretty weak against Solitude in general. I'm not... Maybe we should be going back just to, like, 2 Obzedats, too. I wasn't sure. Alright, stand by. Stand by. Stand by. This deck is a missed opportunity to play 3 Persist. What do you mean by that? Okay, let's keep this hand. Turn 1, basic plains. I think I'm just going to cast the Priest. I think that there's a good chance that they have Rested Piece in their hand, which I will just use the ending for instead of pitching the Grief or anything. Yeah, I don't know why, but just like turn 1 basic plains screams I have a Rested Piece in my hand. So unfortunately, I can't Grief myself to put a Griselbrand into play this turn. Believe me, if I could, I would. But I think I will Grief them, and then try to use the Mending to get Griselbrand back next turn. Okay, I'll take the Teferi, and we are yet again today, this stream, in a spot where we're hoping our blue-white opponent doesn't top deck something. That seems to be the theme of today's stream. Obzedat is in the deck in game 1. We were just been siding it out against Control a lot. I kind of want to cut the Jin for the second Obzedat again. That's what we were doing in the past. Okay, they shocked in the Fountain. That's actually kind of a nightmare. Oh no, I guess if this is just Spell Pierce, that's fine. It could also just be a bluff. Okay, they just didn't need to shock. An unnecessary shock. you'll never see the unnecessary shock coming. You'll never see it coming, huh? So there's Cauldron Mystery card. We get to march the Germ token. Did I ever get your tech? Oh, sorry, no, but you keep posting the link in chat again. I'm sorry. We've had a lot of deck text today. It wasn't intentional. Yeah, just yell at me if I miss it. Always, of course. Yell at me always and forever. So yeah, I think we just... I guess I'll Grief their last card. And then Ephemerate my Griselbrand. Not have to go to discard. Tech for Noba. Oh no, and it was even like a fun meme. I don't know what this art is, but I love it. Beating down crabs. I love the art. Love everything about this. No notes, perfectly built. Beautiful old tarpet too. Mark, could Leisure Shard be played at Mono Blue Spirits and Pioneer? I think it could and should, Mark. I think that's a great spot for it. Level 1 character in RPG, perfect. It's Stephen King in the Dark Tower. I'm not familiar with the Dark Tower. Didn't Idris Elba play? He was the Tower, right? I don't know. He was. I remember like seeing the trailer, and I remember seeing like only Idris Elba in the trailer. Like he was the only character in the movie. That's how I recall it, at least. I should read the books. I've heard good things about the books. I've heard good things about the books. Yeah, I've heard bad things about the movie though. But I do like Idris Elba a lot. I've been looking for a new book to read. Now I'm getting a bit more time. I'll probably just go Jace Priest Coast. We can just chill. You should read Dune. I should read Dune, yeah. I've had a lot of good friends like really recommend it to me. So I went into the Dune movie, the recent Dune movie, and this is not a spoiler, but I went into it expecting it to be a self-contained, one-shot, full story movie, but it was very much just like part one and, you know, a trilogy or, you know, septilogy, whatever. And I really wish I had known it was just like part one going into it, because I was expecting to go into it and I would come out knowing the story of Dune. I would come out and I'd finally know what the story of Dune was all about. Gilligan, thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, it felt like it ended in such a weird spot too. I remember it was like I was like 3 hours in and I'm like, how are they gonna wrap all this up? I was just like, man, there's like a lot of untied story threads here that haven't really quite come together. There's a lot we need to do if I'm gonna make it home to see Athena on time. And then it just ended. Doesn't Thoughtseize coming against control? My opponent's more of a Stoneblade deck, so I'm kind of not sure that I want the Thoughtseizes. We still have the Griefs too. Got a lot of Griefs. I think this hand is a keep. Yeah, I think double Grief plus discard outlet for Griselbrand plus Vengeance has got to be a keep. Love to draw land immediately. Yeah, I really wanted to. I really want to see the Batman. I really want to see Doctor Strange. I really want to see everything, everywhere, all the time. Those are. Okay, so I can just go to discard turn 1, but that's so bad against to Rest in Peace that I think I'm supposed to Grief on turn 1 here and hope and cope. Clothis, I'm begging for a land. I'm begging for a land off the top. Just finished moving today. That's awesome. Me and Esther, like, we're so still not unpacked at all. Gonna try to knock some of it out over the weekend. It's tough for me though, where like I work, you know, 7 days a week really. Like usually like kind of a light workload on Sunday and Saturday, but it's tough to also. Yes. You know, it's just you know, tricky. I think I'm supposed to upkeep Indulgence, or maybe if they get a tap land. Get Godless Shrine Island here. Won't they have Charm up now? We're going to try to Goryo turn 3. Well, I have Grief in my hand, so I'm thinking that with the Indulgence I can draw a black card, or hoping, right? Didn't draw a black card. Not yet, at least. One more draw step. I can also just trade Teferi for Charm, potentially. This is obviously terrible if they drew Rest in Peace, but... Okay, didn't draw the black card. So I think we just cast Teferi. And so if they slam Jace and don't have a Force of Negation, we're in good shape. Probably in better shape if they don't Force or Solitude. Their hand is currently Jace, Prismatic Ending, 2 mystery cards after the Steam Vents. Slam the Jace. Slam the Jace. They slammed Teferi and plus Teferi with 1 mana up that they shocked. But they did this earlier, where they just shocked a 1 mana spell into play. Or 1 land into play. I'm just gonna shock and play around Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm, but they already did this this trick. Alright, feels great to kill that Teferi without drawing a card. Their hand is Ending Jace, Mystery card, maybe a Spell Pierce, huh? Okay, I think I'm gonna go Grief Pitch Indulgence. And then I could potentially just discard Griselbrand to hand size. And Goryo's it back. Yeah, they love the old Shockland bluff. I like the Shockland bluff too. I do it sometimes. Yeah, I think I'm just supposed to... Well, I could try to draw into an Ephemerate. Missed on the Ephemerate. So I can play the Jace. The Jace gets got by the Jace does get got by Ending, but I can Grief the Ending and play Jace. I think that's probably best line. It's like so fun. Just play all the cards in your in the world. Okay, so we're gonna discard Griselbrand for sure. Fast land, fetch land, fetch land. Yeah, Hallowed Fountain mystery card. Got a deck tech for Epic Dredge. Keep Griselbrand in case they draw Rip. You could, yeah. I think we're still like beating Rip though. Amulet Titan, okay. I actually really like 3 Cavern. Don't share this with anybody. But 3 Cavern main makes a lot of sense with the prevalence of Murktide at the moment. I also like. I don't really like Tide of Industry. I think this card's not all that strong. You know, I think basically any of your other flex spots is going to be fine. Like, this card doesn't even. It just chump blocks Murktide Regent. You know, like third. I know a lot of people hate Explorer, but you know, third Explorer, third Abundant Harvest. Just kind of anything over Titan. I'm really not a believer. I'm not really a big believer in Dragon Lord Jamoka. I would probably... I don't know. Especially like... Okay, it having 7 toughness is kind of nice. It's also kind of small against Murktide, and against Solitude pretty hard against Blue-White. I do like the extra Cavern on the sideboard. Maybe with 2 Rest in Peace. I'm not sure exactly how your living into matchup is, though. Okay, so let's get back our Griselbrand again. Definitely trying to find that Ephemerate. We missed last time. We have all 4 Ephemerates in the bottom 22 cards. It's kind of brutal. I know that Fran's of the opinion that Veil sucks at Amulet, but I feel like it's a bit of exaggeration. Maybe I shouldn't have minused. Yeah, I don't think I was supposed to minus, actually. I will take the Ephemerate. Can't cast it at the moment, though. Probably should discard second Mending, actually. Okay, we have 20 cards left in our library. Only 1 Griselbrand left. We didn't see a Griselbrand off the last minus. What's my personal color identity? Just colorless. completely colorless. Yeah, I might like to see, again, like, maybe fourth endurance over the rest in peace, actually. You might want third dismember if you feel like there's a lot of Maguses, but I don't think I have too many other notes. So I could just priest to put... Oh, I guess I could just priest for lethal next turn, just attack with the priest. So I guess I was probably supposed to actually cast Mending. But here I'll just Jace, Coast tapped, pass back. Okay, so if they... Oh, I was supposed to Mending a response, sorry. But if they bounce the Grief, they don't get to draw a card. It's really not that big of a problem. But I was supposed to Mending a response just to dig for the last Griselbrand a bit more. Goryo's for Jace, flashback Goryo's for second Jace. I don't know if that's a serious point or not. But it didn't seem like it accomplished that much. We have the win here, because you can actually just attack with this priest. Couldn't you have Goryo's 2 Grief? Goryo's only targets legendary creatures. Okay, we got there kind of a clunky finish with all 4 Ephemerates being in the bottom 22 cards. It's really tough to mulligan a hand with Mending, Goryo's Vengeance, Griselbrand, so I think I'm supposed to keep this on the draw. And spike a land. Up against a Wooded Foothills. Hopefully this is just Living End. Turn 1 Ragavan. Okay. That's fine. It's not a black source, but it's still fine. Okay, Solitude the Ragavan, pitching Priest of Fell Rites. That's an Abzan Ephemerate with Endurance, Solitude, Grief, typical Abzan cards. That last line, typical Abzan cards, is sure holding a lot of weight. That last line, typical Abzan cards, you wouldn't like have any examples. You wouldn't like be trying to put like, I don't know, like a 4/5 Trampler with Abzan colors in a deck like that. I think I'm actually gonna go for Jin-Gitaxias here. So they can grief them and get them off Blood Moon. Or just, you know, an innocent Abzan cards, huh? I think keeping them off Blood Moon here is probably pretty important. I don't know, Spike, what if we just played, I don't know, Grief, Solitude, Endurance, and like, just like random Abzan cards? What makes you like this deck over more regular Reanimator? I think it's a bit more powerful, it's a bit better at using the incarnations. It's kind of a combination of those things. Okay, so I don't know if I'm supposed to Goryo's Vengeance on my turn or my opponent's turn. Probably my turn. So first time going for the Jin. But we're definitely looking for an Ephemerate off the Jin, draw 7 to keep the Jin around. There instead, I mean the problem with that is if they Bloodbraid Elf into Blood Moon, it's just kind of like we lose the game. Make them discard their hand. Yeah, but it's also like the case of like, does their hand matter that much? If they draw Blood Moon or Bloodbraid into Moon, it's like just such a disaster. I can also like draw Solitude potentially, Solitude this. And if we find Ephemerate off of our 7 cards, which we're pretty likely to, we get to keep our Jin around, discard their hand anyways. Awesome. Exactly 7 cards in hand. Beautiful turn. We played a land that turn. So here comes a Bloodbraid Elf, I assume, yeah. Into Spyro. But then they have to discard their hand to the Jin end of turn. They do have a Bolt, so we... I mean, I guess the Bloodbraid's attacking for 4 anyway, so we have to take the hit. So they have to discard their entire hand. The opponent says, what? They didn't read the card. What? Can't fault them. It's funny. Okay, let's just play Seachrome Coast, discard Griselbrand end of turn after we draw 7. Then Vengeance on their turn. It costs 10 mana. It does a lot, yeah. With a 10 for a 10 mana 5/4, you gotta assume there's some more text on it. You don't discard? I do discard because I draw 7. Yeah, Jin doesn't give you no maximum hand size. I think you might be confusing it with the new one. I've never read the new Jin-Gitaxias. Okay, I've read it. I don't know what it does, but I'm assuming that that's probably where the confusion comes from. If I had to guess. Any worries about decking myself? Not really. I have 31 cards. I'll be okay. I just won't like draw 7 with Griselbrand. I can also Solitude my own Jin if it becomes an issue. Playing against Ponza. Probably need to be playing all of the white removal. I know I keep saying we can't, like, cut the cheap creatures, but maybe we can. Being all in on Goryo's Vengeance is kind of scary, but it may be fine. I'm not sure how good these Thoughtseizes are, though, but I guess, I'm worried they can have Endurance, they can have Relic, they can have Clothis, they have Blood Moon, so, like, they also have, like, probably a decent amount of burn for my cheap creatures. Can keep 1 or 2 Priest over Jin. I think Jin's pretty good against them, though, right? I might play, like, 1 Priest over, like, the 4th Grief. That's fine. We'll draw Goryo's Vengeance, alright? That's my attitude. We'll draw it. I think Planeswalker Accomplice decks have a chance to be competitive. Yeah, I think that they do. I think that a 2-card combo that wins the game for 4 mana total is like definitely has the chance. Stands close. Needs to draw a land, but we have Solitude, Ephemerate, got Thoughtseize. I think I'll mulligan, but it is close. This hand is cracked in half. Weak to interaction though. Well, do I plan? Wait, I play Charming Judge Shadow again anytime soon. I don't know if I will. I bet I will. I bet I play the deck again at some point. Yeah, but I also don't schedule my streams very far in advance. And usually how it goes is like I try to just be always brewing until I feel like the format dries up or like I just get stuck for a little while. And that's when I start kind of like focusing more on the other brews that I liked. And at the very least right now, it feels like I'm not stuck at all. I'm in like full throttle brew mode. So it's good. It's probably going to be a little while before I get stuck again and we like return to that deck. Back when Neon Dynasty came out, loved the mushrooms. Basically, all we did was work on brewing, affinity decks. So you can go back and look at the different variants. I like the mono blue Urza ones the best overall. But we spent I spent like a month working on Affinity decks earlier this year. Without tutors, how did I arrive at 1 Obs and 1 Jin-Gitaxias respectively? So I played a lot of this deck in the past, and I was just playing 2 Obs because I thought I wanted like 6 big creatures to loot away. I think we get basic planes here. Yeah, I thought I wanted 6 big creatures to loot away, and And I decided to change that split from 2 Obs for Griselbrand to they just have Hardcast Grief here. Smart of them to do this now because against the instant speed Goryo's Vengeance. But I just changed the split to 1 Ob, 1 Jin-Gitaxias. Well, I guess we're gonna Solitude Ephemerate now. Hope this buys enough time to rebuild. My friend was my plan. I said Fran. I saw Fran jump. My friend is my plan to draw Goryo's Vengeance did work. 3 cards in opponent's hand. So I am also happy we have the full 4 Grief, full 4 Thoughtseize against the Endurances. Those are that's definitely your plan against those cards. Fable, 1 card left in opponent's hand. Definitely looking for some card selection here. I think I get rid of the Goblin token. Ooh, that's card selection. Maybe getting rid of this is better because they can Fable copy. That's the full 4 Goryos. I guess 1 did get shuffled back in. If I went to a tournament tomorrow, would I play Rocco? I think I am playing a tournament tomorrow, and I think I am playing Rocco. Not necessarily because I think it's the best deck, but because it's cool and interesting, and I want to see how it fares in a tournament setting. Alright, big draw step. The Griselbrand was unfortunately 1 card too deep, but now we're any Thoughtseize, Indulgence, or Mending away from throwing a Griselbrand at my opponent. Although it is obviously the case that the longer it takes us to draw one of those cards, the worse it is because Griselbrand costs us so much life. Chalice on 1. So that stops me from ephemerating my Griselbrand unless I find a March or a Prismatic Ending. They also probably have more 1-drops in their deck than I do, funny enough. I think we have 1 more turn. Endurance, number 2. Yeah, they definitely have Endurance, number 2. So this is 6 if they copy, plus 4, put me to 1. Dude, they top deck Bloodbraid Elf? What is this? Nice. Into Rin and 6, lethal, game 3. Kind of interested in Teferi on the play because that's another good. These are also good against Grief and good against the Bloodbraid Elves too, to a somewhat lesser extent. Do something like this. Seems fine. Teferi is also way better on the play too. On the play, game 3. I probably have to keep Grief Ephemerate turn 1. But it's mulled to 6. Okay, definitely happier on the Grief Ephemerate plan. Is Rocco good enough in 4-color piles, which is all 3 elementals to get your hitters when you need them? Rocco's only good if you have Asmo in your deck. Rocco is only good if you have Asmo in your deck, in my opinion. I think we're going to take Ragavan, Seasoned Pyromancer. If you have Arbor Elf, sorry, Dread Arbor, then, you know, Clothis have mercy on your soul. I don't know, like 7 mana to get an Omnath with Rocco is too much. 8 mana to get, you know, it's just too much mana to like try to get like you're playing like 4-color Omnath, I think. Cool. So now I can exile this, exile the Chalice. They play Chalice next turn, but I'm also probably okay with just like Chalice being in play because they definitely have more 1-drops than I do. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm in a rush to exile the Chalice here. Unless I draw Ephemerate, exactly. Okay, I'm okay plussing this. If I draw a Black Source, I'll probably bounce my own Grief and then replay it next turn. Did draw the Black Source. Definitely get basic Swamp against the likely Blood Moon deck. Okay, probably gonna Pending the Hearse. Although I don't have to with any degree of urgency. Okay, now I'll just keep Hardcast Solitude up, plus set my opponent for 3. And it seems like the Incarnation Beatdown is going to get the job done. Alright, got the job done. 2-0. I haven't played against pawns in a long time. This hand's really good if we draw a looting effect. They might mulligan in the blind on the draw. Go to 5. Okay. No Shredder in this deck now. I don't think it really fits. Brutal. See, I'm pretty done with this anyway. It's fine. It's just like super off topic is kind of at least my issue with it, you know? Just like totally derails the chat. And like when I look over, I have to sift through like 100 comments about there, and there that I don't care about versus like anything relevant to like what's happening on stream. You know what I mean? I think I'll discard the second Mending here. This may be a game where we actually hardcast the Obzedat. And then I think I would probably use Ephemerate to counter a removal spell on Jace. Yeah, you're good, friend. It's not a huge deal. Just move on. Maybe playing blue-black Murktide. That's what it looks like. Yeah, looks like they're playing the blue-black Murktide list. Come on, Goryo's Vengeance. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to flashback Mending or not, because we're like very close to just hardcasting the Obzedat, and it should be good. I think my opponent probably has threat plus counter magic up here. Probably fine to flash back and just discard any non-Goryo's Vengeance card. Okay. Another Charm. Another Charm. This matchup was probably pretty abysmal. And I guess if we can copium into them not having a counterspell here, we should be in pretty good shape. Let's get a dress down too. Yeah, they just have so much counter magic. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're playing my older list, but I have updated it to play Shredders and less Indulgences, and then Bobble over Street Wraith. End of turn, cycling just down, allowing them to hit me for 13 with the Shadow. Still technically live if we draw Vengeance and they're out of counter magic. Alright, Vengeance off the top one time. Oh, they also don't have another fetchable. They don't have another fetchable. We win. Unless they change my list. No, so I was playing 2 islands. I forgot I was playing 2 islands. Damn it. They just have stub too. Dang it, my hope. Dang it, too much hope. Oh, dang it. Oh, no. That's what I get for hoping. So they should be on Voidwalker as their graveyard hate of choice. So I kind of want the 4th ending. Then I can play a Narset, like 1 Grief, 1 Thoughtseize. Kind of down interested in playing 2 Mending. We play like 2 Thoughtseize. No Grief. Some Thoughtseize won't hurt us so much against counter magic. Well, I understand. Like, there's a lot of like reasonable cards to play here. I am down for a couple copies. Yeah, I think Narset would be fine here as well. You don't like March? I know I built their list and I like their March. I don't think March is that good against them. I think like Ending is more efficient against Voidwalker and Shadow. Like, what's the argument for March? Like, I don't think we need like. I think we have 4 Solitude, 4 Prismatic Ending. I think March is overkill. Probably don't want to just run into Stubborn Denial. For Dimir Shadow, list you changed. Wraith for Bobble, for Shredder, what cards you cut. You can see when I post the list later today. Gotta keep you hanging. White Esper Triumph. Your mana is really good. Even without the Esper Triumph, your mana is smooth and silky. I think I discard the Priest here. And the deck, you know, having a tap land enter the first couple turns can be the difference between winning and losing a game. Charm, best card in the format. Free Goryo back and the dress down. Do we still have to sack? I think you have to, if you Goryo's after, you don't have to still sack, no. I guess I discard a land here over the Ephemerate. We have anticipated the Voidwalkers. They're down to 6. They take one of my 2 copies of Prismatic Ending. They can't Stubborn Denial the other one. We are flooding out a little bit, unfortunately, though. You feel like playing Boros Stoneblade at all? I played a lot of Boros Stoneblade there, the trophy race, and I'm honestly like still like a tiny bit burned out on it. But also like, you know, the Streets of New Capenna ended up being a much deeper set than I think any of us anticipated, and because of that, I'm still just like focused on brewing in the streets, you know, rather than just going back and returning to old list yet. Rough. Probably taking you out. This matchup seems like very, very bad. Worse. I think worse than Blue-red Murktide and worse than Grixis Shadow. I was playing some of this deck against Reanimator variants when I was playing this list, and it was tough. And I think that I guess so we can actually evoke, and if they counter, we can priest. It's my top 3 or 5 street cards. Top 3 or 5 list right now, live on twitch.tv/aspiring spike. Y'all are so lucky. Coming in hot at number 1, it's probably no surprise to anybody. Ledger Shredder, that card is cross-format superstar, just goes in a ton of different shells, breathes new life into a lot of different archetypes, breathes more life into existing older archetypes. Number 1 is Ledger Shredder. Coming in hot at number 2 is the Triomes, baby. You can't forget the Triomes. They may be boring because they're lands, but boy, do they tap for 3 colors, and you can fetch for them. Coming in at number 3 is probably Riveteer's Trump, because I just love that card so much, but Rocco's also really good. That's maybe number 4. I'm going to put that in at number 4. And then it's like there's a lot of like other cards kind of competing for that number 5. Maybe probably Tainted Indulgence, but I do think Indulgence is kind of a boring card. Indulgence is kind of a boring card. Hearse is also really good, although it doesn't. I'm not actually sure that it has that many homes in Modern. Okay, so because my opponent can't Fatal Push the Solitude in response, they can drown it, but it's kind of hard for them to kill the Solitude in response, so I think I'm supposed to do this now. Obviously, if they've drowned, this sucks. Or Dismember, the one of Dismember. Damn it. Oh yeah, I like Unlucky Witness a lot too. Unlucky Witness, Ob is fine also. Yeah, I guess that's what I get. Yeah, Shredder's actually numbers 1 through 5. Okay, we'll keep this. Go turn 2 Priest, turn 3 Indulgence. Was there any reason to go for it end of turn? The upside is being able to attack with the Solitude, which while I'm at 3 life, I thought was really important. Didn't work out. Alright, we really need this Priest to live. Yeah, that matchup's pretty good for you, Panda. Jeez. Looks like a Jund variant. Alright, opponent, you may cast your Tarmogoyf. Okay, I actually really like the idea of playing March of Otherworldly Light. Oh, it's Junsack. Okay. Spike has scammed opponents into playing a good matchup for his deck. Classic strategy. Any griefs? Any griefs? No griefs. Yeah, I really like the idea of March just being 1-mana exile land while generally being a good card alongside your liquid metal coating. The awkward thing, of course, is like it's way better to like coding plus March than it is to play Torque plus March. Although Torque tapping for mana for Karn is somewhat relevant, I guess. All right, the powerful Outland Liberator. I think this turn I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Bombardments. Then Goryo's Vengeance back the Jin-Gitaxias on their instep. Think Grizzly's better than Jin-Gitaxias there? I do. I also don't love how fragile Outland Liberator is. I don't like that you can assemble your coding, your liquid metal combo, and then you're like ready to attack, and they bolt it. I guess you can maybe have a mana at sack. I'm not sure. I think I would definitely cut the Clothuses here. Clothuses feel pretty out of place. You know, I obviously have a very Clothus is very near and dear to my heart, but I do feel like it just is a bit out of place here. I would also probably try to be playing Ragavan over Birds of Paradise. Probably 4 Ragavans, where you have enough removal to make the card strong, and it like I like am very, very unimpressed by Birds of Paradise lately. Birds of Paradise has been a card that I just am not very eager to put in a modern deck. Okay, up a game against Junsak. Junsak is probably playing Endurance as their graveyard hate of choice, so we're going to want some combination of Thoughtseize and Teferi to fight Endurances. Their version's a bit weird when they're playing Dreadhorde Butcher. I think I want to cut these. 3 endings is probably an okay number. We can maybe completely get off of ending. I don't know. It interacts with their like board pretty well, but I'm not sure like how much we care about their board. Maybe on the draw. Maybe we bring in Teferis on the play. Is it bird specific or general or X1 creatures? Just like, I mean, mana dorks in general. Yeah, X1 mana dorks that don't block Ragavan. I'm just like not super into them these days. I would also like cut the Forsake the Worldly, play more. I would play, I think, the full 4 marches. Probably cut the Colossuses for March number 4. I don't think Eternal Witness makes a lot of sense here. You could cut those and the birds for Ragavans. I think that leaves you with 1 other flex spot. Could play 1 Ancient Grudge. 1 Grudge is probably fine. Okay, I can keep this. Probably put back the second fountain. Kitchen Finks is completely unplayable in Modern. Don't ever put it in your sideboard. I'm sorry. I wish that wasn't true. It's completely unplayable, though. You know, it's definitely the case with these Karn sideboards. You have to identify, like, what matchups are you struggling in. Okay, well, I was not expecting my opponent to be on Leyline of the freaking Void. I guess we'll play it out, but boy, is Leyline hard to beat. They are on a mulligan. Legend Shorter Spawn Phoenix. I think it's very good in Pioneer, not very good in the modern version. Yeah, Colossus is smiting me. Yeah, I played Pioneer this week. I feel like the Pioneer... I've just been more interested in Modern lately. I don't know. I feel like you guys have also been more interested in Modern lately too, but we'll play that format again soon. We also played a lot of it last week too with the Phoenix deck. Obzedat's in the main deck. You just kind of cited out a lot. Ooh, very relevant card to see in the Blood Moon. Probably should have. Maybe should have waited a little bit more. Just kind of off of it. I'm going to bring in the Teferis as our answer to Leyline. And I guess if I'm assuming they're on Leyline instead of Endurance, I'm going to go way off of these discard spells and be more in on like March and Ending. Maybe play Obzedat as like a way to just hardcast to beat Leyline. I think that's fine. 2/2. We can March a Leyline potentially, so I think I like Leyline ending more than March. Or ending more than... Or March more than ending. Yeah, I will try and work more on the Mono Blue Devotion deck again. But, no promises. It's probably a hand you have to keep on the play. Weak to Leyline, but at least you have some card selection to dig for Teferi. Can you get 4 for ending on Leyline? No, but March can get Leyline. What's so good about Jace Vryn's Prodigy? It is particularly good with Goryo's Vengeance, where 1, it is a discard enabler, so you can discard something to Goryo's Vengeance back. It can also flashback Goryo's Vengeance, which is obviously like, you know, the main card again that this deck is built around. And you can use Goryo's Vengeance to get back Jace after it dies to a removal spell or whatever. and then you can tap it, it transforms, you don't sacrifice it because it's flipped as a Planeswalker, and then you can minus it to flashback the Glorious Vengeance you just cast. So it fits really, really well in this strategy specifically, and basically no other strategy. Well, they took Mending over Indulgence. Pretty surprised by that. I did see that they boarded in Blood Moon, so I'm going to try to prioritize getting some basics. Might as well respond to this, right? I could draw 2 good cards instead of having a hand of all dead cards. Take my March, I guess. Come on, Teferi. The amount of times I played a tap shock on turn 1, would a copy of Esper try and be worth it? Well, you have to look and see, like, what amount of times have I played a tap shock land on turn 1 and my mana's been bad? It's like basically 0, right? Your mana requirements are just like pretty easy in this deck, so I think that the downside of, you know, maybe I should discard the Griselbrand, but I just feel like the downside of the, I think I want to get the Swamp now. The downside of the tap land does not outweigh the benefits it gets in your mana being a little bit better, because your mana is already really good. If I'm down to Rid for Rocco, what can I set for just an extra land? Yeah, I would probably put an extra land. Good luck. All right, just we're basically hard casting Griselbrand next turn. Basically hard casting Griselbrand next turn. I didn't discard any shock lands. It's good 4/4. Hit me for 5. Oh, they cast another spell. Brutal. Come on, Mending, Solitude, anything. I guess we're counting that as anything. Gonna chumperoo with that one. We could almost play Zerd of the deck. Are we really? I guess no, the incarnations. We can't almost play it. Okay, Grief. Or Grist, kill the priest. Hit me for 5. I'm down to 8. The Goblin Bombardment represents 6 damage. So if I go Fetch Shock, Griselbrand, I'm dead. I have no basics left in the deck because I was playing around Blood Moon. No, Evoke is not an activated ability. It's a alternate casting cost. Now we are just dead on board. At least we played around these Blood Moons, baby. At least we played around these Blood Moons. Okay, I'm dead. Let's finish up the league. 2-0 to 2-2. Big sad. I think we're going to pivot over to the Dimir Shadow deck with updates. Mulligan. Okay, we're going to keep this. I think I'm putting back Marsh Flats. But it also molds to 6, thinking about if they want to mold to 5 or not. What happened to Wandering Mind in Modern? It's still legal. They didn't get banned. Still an interesting option for some decks. Still fringe playable. Okay, opponent decides to keep 6. They play an unclaimed territory at turn 1, naming Goblin. Definitely, or very likely the case that that our Obzedat is not going to be super good against goblins, but we'll probably have to be in on it. Love to see Mogwar Marshal instead of Snoop on turn 2, though. And I have to think if I want to cast Mending or Indulgence. Probably Indulgence, because it's almost like bad if I don't get to discard to the Indulgence later. Well, I guess I'd have the flashback Mending. Should you play Urza Saga in the Ponza list? Probably not, no. Unless there's like some target you can get that helps your coding game plan, I'm not that into it. Alright, so off their Matron. They're getting a Snoop. Let's cast the Indulgence. I put back a land from my opening hand, thinking it wouldn't be too difficult to find another one. Hopefully I was not super wrong. That being said, we've got Solitude now for the Snoop, so we can lean on that a little bit while we try for Obzedat to race our opponent. My opponent is thinking on if they want to chump block or not. I imagine that if they're thinking this long, maybe they have a either Munitions Expert or they're thinking about Munitions Expert as a way to kill this Obzedat. Would definitely be a spot, I think, where Jin-Gitaxias or Griselbrand would be a lot better, but obviously Obzedat being somewhat hardcastable, I think you do want to lease the first copy. Maybe you want to play a second Ob over Jin. Maybe you could play 7 total good Goryo's targets. They do elect to chump block. Call a judge on my opponent for slow play. Okay, so you have to make sure you stack the triggers where the Obzedat's exile ability resolves before the Goryo's ability. So you just get to keep your Obzedat around. I'm pretty sure I've misclicked on that in the past. I think everybody misclicks there once. Attacking for 2. On the 19. They tutored a Snoop last turn, so you have to assume that that's going to be what they're going to lead on here. They do. Do they have 4th land in hand? They don't have 4th land in hand. So we bring back Obzedat, drain for 2. And it's pretty easy to just get super punished by letting your opponent untap with Snoop. So I think I'm just going to Solitude, pitch Mending. I'm going to play Priest instead of Jace, so if my opponent has another Snoop, I can Priest the Solitude and not lose to the Gabo combo. Everyone is so focused on Shredder and Reanimator Shells or Phoenix and Pioneer. Do you know why it isn't being tested in Modern Is It Phoenix? I do know why it's not being tested in Modern Is It Phoenix. It's because the strength to playing the Modern Is It Phoenix Stimulus deck is that you get to be a deck that is super duper resilient to removal, and you get to be very, very grindy while also being resilient to removal. Shredder, like playing Shredder removes that very powerful aspect of your Phoenix deck. That being said, there's potentially a different build that somehow like is playing like maybe you could play like Phoenix DRC Shredder or something as your 3 threats and like a more of a prowess focus shell. But I think that it's probably going to be a bit worse. Not sure. When you need Martyr Phoenix, this is the Jeskai list. I imagine so. Like I top rated the challenge with that Phoenix list. I have a lot of 5-0s with that Phoenix list. I feel like that Phoenix list I worked on is the best version of Modern Phoenix that exists. I know that I top rated that challenge, and then every single other player just changed the list to play like Murktide or Otherworldly Gaze, despite me begging them not to, and decided the Phoenix archetype was bad. I just feel like I never saw anybody playing my 75. I'm being hyperbolic. There obviously were people that did, but I just was begging everyone, please don't play Murktide or Otherworldly Gaze, and everybody ignored me, then abandoned the archetype after losing a lot. Pointy Finger the 7 months, appreciate ya. Are there any Phoenix updates? Not really. A lot of people want me to put Shredder in there. I don't think it fits in the existing version. It's in the Stream Decker, some YouTube videos, Channel Fireball articles on Twitter. I actually think it's probably pretty good at the moment, too. Also, Tested Talents versus Cascade decks. The problem with Tested Talents is it's like really vulnerable to Force of Negation and Dispute in a way that like Flusterstorm just isn't. Okay, Obzedat down. We have Goryo's Vengeance for Griselbrand next turn, thankfully. Main deck Trashmaster. Hit me for 6, down to 14. So if I can find another Goryo's Vengeance, I win. So I don't need to dig for it pre-combat because it's gonna win no matter what. Well, I guess it probably wouldn't have hurt to draw main phase. So we need an Ephemerate or a Goryo's Vengeance. We have so many looks, I think I'm just going to dig a little bit. Oh my gosh. Alright, close your eyes, draw 7 more. Okay. We found an Ephemerate. We only have one Ephemerate though. But Ephemerate untapping Griselbrand should, and plus the Solitude should be enough here. I could also Solitude my own Griselbrand, but then I don't have a... I guess I have Priest for next turn. I could just hold up the other Solitude, I guess. Play second Priest off of a Plains. Discard 11 cards. They have Singing? No, they have Boggart Harbinger in their hand, not Singing. So if I let this resolve and my opponent has Sling Gang on top of their library, I lose. If I Solitude this in response and my opponent has Sling Gang on top of their library, they could hit me for 4. But I go up to 9. No, they can hit me 4. I block here, ping. They hit me for 6. I go up to 9. I don't think there's a way I can lose if I Solitude my own Griselbrand, so... But if I don't do this now, I do lose to Sling Gang on top. Let's go! Let's freaking go! Hell yeah. What a good play. Oh, man. Feel great about that one. Feel great about that one. Oh, man. Yeah, unbelievable. What a gamble. It's not a gamble. This was 100% the correct play. I lose to Sling Gang on top if they cast the Snoop. I win. I also win the game if there's not Sling Gang on top. If anything else happens, I win the game no matter what. The only outcome I lose is if I don't Solitude Griselbrand and they have the Sling Gang on top. Right? Like, I know they're at 5, but I'm just going to untap with Priest and all this stuff. I just don't think it matters. Okay, wait for Singing to go in the stack. No, because we're at 2. They just respond to my Solitude by killing me. I feel like a lot of players just let it resolve without thinking too much there. Can't activate Priest? No, I can activate Priest. I should be able to, right? Because so they can go attack me. I block one of their things. They sack. They put it to set. They put me to 6. And then I just go Prismatic Ending on the Snoop, and then if they sack their entire board... Oh, if they sack their entire board, I go to 3, and then they have Sling Gang on top. Oh, no. You're right. I thought that I was surviving. This only works if they sack their entire board, though, in response to the ending, but they should. It's like... Oh, no, I have Mending. Sorry, I have Mending. I forgot. Yes, this was... I have Mending. Should be fine. I knew there was something. So I should just bait the Snoop here, right? So I go activate this, go down to 3. They put me to 3. They try to put me to 0. I Mending go to 2. And then do I just get Obzedat? I think I have to get Obzedat. Then I go up to 4. They can, and then Slinging isn't quite enough to get me. Yeah, so we go target Obzedat. You have to Mending Pending? No, I don't. I just do this first. They don't have exactly. I can respond to the last Snoop by casting Faithful Mending from the yard to gain 2. And then I go down to 2. Then I go up to 4, and they can Sling Gang me down to 1, but 1 is not 0. Getting by the skin of my teeth. Oh, did I miss my land drop? No, I played a Swamp this turn. Why did they sack Snoop if / they have Harbinger in hand? I mean, it doesn't matter. I could have ending the Snoop after this if they didn't, but like, you know, I like they did it to try to like hope I missed the Mending, right? But I had the ending to get the Snoop if they didn't mess up there. And now we get to Goryo's Vengeance, our Griselbrand, and win. Okay, I'll look Esther. Well, I guess they do get to... They get to go to 1. But you know, they don't have an avenue to victory. We can take these couches if you want them, sweetie, but do we need to get a truck or something for them? Show couches, are they nice? Not really. I kind of like them though. I don't know if Esther's in the chat still. Because I kind of feel like if we have to rent a truck for these, I don't know if... they're fine, they're fine. They're kind of like... They're just like old leather couches. I feel like they go in one of our rooms decently well. Okay, up a game against Goblins. Very, very exciting game 1. I think I'm gonna cut the bring in the 4th, the Obzedat, bring in the 4th Solitude. They probably do have Leyline also, so I think I want the Teferis and the Marches. It's maybe a bit much. Cut the Griefs. I think it's probably fine. Pizza with the 15 months, appreciate it, Jeb. Technically, I can see about how we'll move them. He might deliver to us since he's already doing furniture moving. I mean, that's kind of asking a lot. I feel like if he's moving, like, where's the ones that are supposed to get them? I don't know, because, like, sweet, I'm trying to stream the challenge tomorrow morning, and then we have got Dalton's thing tomorrow night, so maybe Grant and Kaylee can help you move. You can ask them. Pizza the 15 months, appreciate you. Do you watch Championship on the stream? I've pulled it up a couple times. I pulled it up a couple times during the stream. Try not to get too distracted. Has anything super awesome happened yet? We're still in the limited portion. No. Wait. This card is standard playable. Spying Overseer. I guess maybe it is. Seems not too bad. I haven't done really any thinking about it. Yeah, my editor at one point was trying to... I'm going to keep this thinking they might mull it to Leyline. My editor was at one point trying to like automatically upload like top clips to YouTube, but it ended up like not working well. Just like super out of context, like weird clips got posted. So we stopped doing that, but maybe I'll post it. Yeah, there's a set championship going on today. Usually the views dip a little bit, which is what's happening now. Not that that's too important. Got a list. Sorry, a list for what? What were we talking about? That's my train of thought. We're talking about the set championship. We're talking about this. Is this a list just for the set championship? Okay. Oh, this is for your deck tech. I see. The deck tech. It says Pioneer. Pioneer humans. Splashing for Ob. I mean, I don't hate Orzhov Charm. Well, I do hate not playing around Blood Moon. Although, if I could just draw a creature discard, I can, you know, win with just win with Griselbrand, getting back Priest. So we're not conceding yet. I would cut the. I think I would probably cut the Predators and just play 4 Obs. I don't think this card's that good. I would also, or maybe play 4 Priest. I think Priest is pretty good. It's a human. It's got a lot of synergy here. Or maybe do something like 2 Orzhov Charm, 4 Ob, 4 Priest, 0 Predator. Also, I thought I saw that you had Westvale Abbey. Oh, you have Westvale Abbey in the creature slot. I don't know if that's like you're doing or... Okay, they killed my Priest. We'll go to game 3. Just play around Blood Moon a bit better. I like the list. I think the idea is very cool, very creative. I think that Ormondal is powerful, but I might just want a land that taps for colors instead in your Mardu deck. But I like the numbers. I like 2 Adeline. I like the deck. I like basically all the other numbers. I think that you're trying to blast. I don't actually get the Vanquish the Horde though. It kind of feels like you're just trying to like relive Blasphemous Act days with like Cutthroat. I think it's not very good. I would probably just play, you know, like 4 Thoughtseize, 3rd Archon of Emeria. There are 68 cards in the deck. Okay, we're going back. That looked like 60 to me. 60 in the main at least. This is 26. Oh wait, this is a 67 card main deck? I see. That's how you were able to fit all the sweetness in there, huh? Keep this on the play. Alright, so... I guess we're cutting the Ormondal and the Orzhov Charms and the Praetors. Maybe trimming, maybe playing 4 Priest, 2 Flesh Taker. Maybe 3 Mayhem Devil. Yeah, I didn't realize that was what we're doing. Okay, opponent's on a Multi 6. Do you think this is better than the Esper Archon Reanimator deck? I think I like it more than that version at the moment, yeah. Although, I think as far as like Archon of Cruelty goes, I really like the mono black Reanimator version. But this one's a bit more powerful. It gets to use the looters a bit better. It gets to, in some ways, grind a bit better because you don't play Unmarked Grave, although Unmarked Grave I think is a better enabler overall. But you just kind of get to go through your deck. You get to play Jace like as a cheap threat too, and like where Jace is like better against the graveyard hate. It's not so weak to removal because you get to return it with Vengeance. Priest is kind of weak to exile based removal. I guess Jace is too, but the Unearth is pretty nice. Pitches to Grief Solitude. Yeah, you get to draw 7 cards. That's the real boon. And then like the Griselbrand plays really well with Grief Solitude too. It's just like a lot of nice overlap. Okay, we have the We have the Teferi to answer the ley line. I did expect that they had it in the deck. They didn't mulligan for game 2. Awesome. So assuming no Thoughtseize on the Teferi, and you know us again not losing to turn 3 Blood Moon, I'm gonna feel okay. Although if we go next turn Teferi, bounce Leyline, and then they play Blood Moon, there's a chance that we can just bounce the Blood Moon since they don't have any like direct damage. We can like Solitude to protect it. Snoop. Well, So I'm gonna bounce the Leyline. We have the Solitude to answer the Snoop. I'm just trying to think. Do I try to like let them go for the combo? I think the problem with letting them go for the combo here is that then they get to attack the Teferi before they do anything else. I think we just exile this now. Fetchline for basic could be good next turn if they are still on Blood Moon here. Shako with the 2-pack. If that's for deck, you can post in chat. Thank you for the 2-pack. How did Gobos win? We won game 1, then game 2 they Blood Moon me on turn 3. Now we're in game 3. They do have the Blood Moon, unfortunately, for us. That being said, you know, with no direct damage stuff, I do think there's a good chance our Solitude is going to be able to protect the Teferi long enough. I mean, I don't think that anything here looks super incorrect to me. I imagine that I would likely want to be playing the full 4 copies of Through the Breach. I also feel like I'd be sideboarding any number of Pact of Negations. I'd also probably would be playing the full 4 Thoughtseize in the main here. Yeah, no comments. I do agree. I'm not personally a big fan of this version, but I feel like I'd like to see the packs in the sideboard. I just hate like having to play 4-box Amber, you know. I guess with your 18 land deck, maybe you don't have maybe you can't actually play more than 2 Through the Breaches. Two main, 2 sides may be fine. Maybe you could do something like -1 Pact, -1 Axe, -1 Brutality, play 4 Thoughtseize, and play more Brutalities in the sideboard. This is kind of cool, being on Ritual Through the Breach post board. I think that's fine. I would also probably just be playing Visages in the sideboard, not the main deck, but like 2 Visages in the sideboard I think is fine. Just having your mana come into play untapped and not deal you a lot of damage game 1, I think is pretty fine. You can have Lightning Axe 3 and 4 in the sideboard, but probably not again game 1. Plus this, don't really know how incentivized we are to loot main phase versus not main phase. Probably doesn't matter that much. Yes, I would like Chick-fil-A, Esther. Thank you. Yeah, so move second Besage to the sideboard. I think 2-pack 2 Besage sideboard feels like good numbers to me. Wait, why are we playing Lightning Axe in the main over Bone Shards? Bone Shards probably better, right? Because it kills Murktide Regent and kills I guess instant speed's pretty relevant to go into the turn Axe untap Through the Breach, right? So maybe like 2 Axe main, like 3 Bone Shards side. I don't think you want Defense Grid. I think Pact to Besage is probably going to be enough. I could be wrong, but that's kind of my inclination. So I think cutting the Defense Grid is how you make room for the rest of these sideboard cards. Give me some nuggets, sweetie, and Diet Coke and Fries. Thank you. But it gets a Snoop with the Matron. Bounce the Blood Moon. I think I'm fetching my basic planes before I loot here. Yeah, Chick-fil-A sauce and ketchup would be great. So this, we can Prismatic Ending the Blood Moon next turn, so I kind of like the idea of just plussing the Jace beyond Solitude plus Ephemerate this turn. So I imagine that they're going to start off by Viling and Snoop, but maybe they'll be wise to my Solitude and they'll just cast Blood Moon first. If they do that, I think I just hardcast the Solitude here so I get to use my mana, and I can Ephemerate the Solitude to exile the Snoop immediately if I want, but I could probably just like wait till their turn. And they gain no life because of the Jace Solitude Wombo combo. I'd Violent Stoop during your instep if I were the Goblin player. Yeah, I mean, main phase just like lets them get the cards off of it potentially, but I don't think that that's a terrible line. I do think that I'm pretty interested here in flashing back the Prismatic Ending on the Vial. Letting the Goblins player get up to Vial and 3 is pretty loosey-goosey. Well, maybe I should have attacked first. Although they basically never block here. Well, I was wrong. So if I attacked first, I'd probably get to Helix them. Not a huge deal. It's been a much longer match 5 than I had hoped after I was like excited to pivot into Demir's Shadow update, but that's fine. It's fine. I think we're gonna emerge unscathed, maybe a little scathed. Okay, they do get to replay their ley line. Zero, 2, 5, 3. I feel like we always have 4 types in the yard. Okay, so we get to march the leyline end of turn. I guess we're just chilling. Oh, I could have responded to this leyline, then I would have had march in the graveyard. I could have flashed back the march again. Just didn't see the line. Turn tomorrow on the mana, don't want Saga anymore. Charm is my new love. So it sounds like a Jund deck. Yeah, that's also kind of been where I've been at with Jund. I mean, you can look and see where I'm at with this archetype in the Stream Decker. Let me pull up my last list. That's not great. Alright, so this is my last Stream Decker for Charming Jund. So I guess I'm probably going to go Priest of Fel Rites on my own Solitude here. Plus on the Snoop first. Attack. Because Mending in response to the first one. Sounds right, huh? Alright, so you're playing same split of removal and bolts as I am. You're playing a different split of Liliana, Ren, Charm. You're playing just one less 3-drop overall in favor of second Kroxa. Or am I playing 2 Kroxa? I'm playing 2 Kroxa. So you're playing Fury instead. I'm not a huge believer in the Fury. It's kind of interesting. Like I don't hate it, but not a huge believer. And so I'm here. I'm going to march the Expert, or at least my plan is to march the Expert in response to the trigger, so that they don't get to kill anything here. Like, I don't think Fury's bad. It's like kind of a fine, generically good card. I haven't played much with it in like the rock style archetypes. I just think you're probably a little bit better off without it. I was playing. I think that you should play 4-season Pyromancer full stop. Like I've been liking 4-season Pyromancer 4-charm, just giving you access to a huge amount of card advantage in your top decks. I'm also personally a big fan of playing a lot of like 2 cycle lands in the Jund midrange shell to cycle with your Red and 6s. I see that you're not playing any beyond the Triome. You're playing Raging Ravine and Takenuma kind of instead of the cycle lands in those spots. And I'm personally a much bigger fan of the cycle lands. So plus on this, attack with both. My opponent got Kiki Jiki with their Harbinger. So I can Ephemerate, exile the Harbinger in response to Kiki Jiki being cast. And then they gain no life because Jace is plussed. And then they have to chump block with the Kiki Jiki after we plus again. Okay. Got there, 3-2 this league. Crime and Punishment's pretty interesting. I haven't really explored that option too much. Maybe that's like the best answer to the Hammer Time / Sanctifier. It's also good against Rhinos. I need to look a bit more into that one. Ooh, 45 play points, pretty good. Okay, we're gonna play some Dimir Shadow. We already kind of did a little bit of a deck tech.